Video describes how to submit a motion for confidentiality, submit a granted confidential filing, and manage user access as a disclosing party on the e-filing system. Log in to the e-filing system using your login ID and password, and select the Login button. From the Welcome screen, select the Continue to e-filing button to get to the e-filing home screen. Enter the ID into the Go-To box for the proceeding that you are registered for and intend to submit a motion for confidentiality on. I am going to enter proceeding 29874 to submit a motion for confidentiality. The motion for confidentiality filing type may be filed by the roles of applicants, interveners, and market participant objectors and their representatives. The public motion for confidentiality filing and associated public documents can be filed by any single or organizational user that is a registered party. Motions for confidentiality may not be filed by a representative of a group. If a motion for confidentiality is required for a group member, the group member would need to make the filing through their own account. This allows the group member to become the disclosing party and decide which individuals see their confidential documents. Select the Filings menu from the left navigation pane and select Create Filing button and Create Filing again. The Create a Filing screen, your registered party name and participant type will be auto-populated by the system. On the Related Schedule section, use the List menu button to get to the Select a Schedule screen. From the Schedule screen, select the green button No Schedule Item is required for my filing type, as motions for confidentiality can be filed anytime a proceeding is active. A motion for confidentiality is submitted by a party requesting a commission ruling to keep a document, a portion of a document, or multiple documents confidential and off the public record. The motion for confidentiality filing is public and includes reasons and outlines specific harm if the confidential material is put on the public record. No confidential material should be included in the motion for confidentiality document. Next, select the List button next to the filing type and select the arrow button to choose the motion for confidentiality filing type. Enter a filing description that is meaningful and long-lasting for the public record. I'm going to enter Beckham Solar motion for confidentiality for 2 commercially sensitive reports. When you save the motion for confidentiality filing, you will be directed to the Filing Details screen where you can upload your public motion document. You can see you now have a draft motion for confidentiality filing, and you will now need to upload your public document to the filing. Select the green Upload button with the paperclip. You will be navigated to the Personal Information and Privacy screen, where you can read about the AUC's policy on personal information for hearings and proceedings. This screen outlines options if you do not agree with the AUC privacy policy for your submission. Select the green button, I acknowledge and agree to the AUC privacy policy. You will be required to acknowledge and agree to the privacy policy a second time as confirmation that the information you submit will form part of the public record. Select the green button, I agree. You will be navigated to the Upload Public Documents screen for your draft filing. Select the green Add More Files button. The files that you would like included on your draft filing and select the Open button. So here's my motion for confidentiality document, and I'm going to select Open. You can manually enter a description for the document, or if your file name is descriptive enough, you can select the check mark to set the default description for all documents to their file name. This will automatically populate each document description with the file name. Select the green Upload button. Once the public motion for confidentiality document has been uploaded, you will notice that your filing is still in a draft state and the document does not have an exhibit number assigned to it at this point. You will also notice that the motion filing has a status of awaiting ruling. This indicates that once this motion for confidentiality is registered and the confidential motion documents are uploaded and finalized, the Commission will issue a confidentiality ruling that approves, partially approves, or denies your motion for confidentiality. You will also notice that the filing has a motion status of awaiting confidential motion files, indicating that the confidential files that you are seeking to be off the public record are not yet uploaded and finalized. Select the Register button at the top of the screen to complete registration of the public motion for confidentiality filing. Select Yes to confirm. Select the Continue button. Once you have registered a motion for confidentiality filing, your registered party becomes a disclosing party on the system. You will be automatically navigated to the Confidential Motion tab on the document screen, where you will see the Upload Confidential Motion Files button. If the button is not enabled, this indicates that you are not a confidential administrator for your organization. The confidential motion documents can only be filed by confidential administrators of the disclosing party. You can see the defaulted confidential administrators for your organization by selecting the Disclosing Party Access tab. If you are a confidential administrator, you can manage access to your confidential documents for specified users by selecting the Manage User Access button. If you are not a confidential administrator, you will need to get your confidential administrator to add your name as a confidential user. So I'm going to select Manage User Access, and I'm going to add Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi as organizational confidential users. Just to note, a single user profile is automatically set as a confidential administrator. Go back to the Confidential Motion tab and upload the confidential files associated with your public motion for confidentiality filing. Select the Upload Confidential Motion Files button. You will notice that there is a purple banner on the confidential document uploader to ensure the user is visually aware of the difference when uploading confidential files. Select the Add More Files button. Browse and select your confidential files. I'm going to select my 2 commercially sensitive reports and select the Open button to load the files. Select the Set the Default Description to the file name or manually add descriptions for each file and then select the Upload button. Confidential motion files will be listed on the Confidential Motion tab. The confidential motion files do not get an exhibit number, as they are temporary files for the Commission to make a ruling. All confidential motion documents will be deleted automatically from the system 60 days after the confidentiality ruling is made or at proceeding completion, whatever date comes first. Confidential motion documents cannot be revised. You will now need to select the Finalize button to signify that your motion for confidentiality and associated confidential documents are ready for the Commission to review and issue a ruling. Once finalized, an email message is sent by the system to the lead application officer indicating that a motion for confidentiality has been finalized. The motion status will show as finalized. The Commission will subsequently issue a confidentiality ruling that outlines the specifics of what information is to remain confidential and details any parties to be excluded. When a confidentiality ruling is issued by the Commission, an email message will be sent by the system to the confidential administrators and users on the Disclosing Party Access tab, notifying them that a ruling has been issued. Here is the confidentiality ruling issued email. You can see it has a link to the ruling and to the motion. You can navigate to the filing screen and view the confidentiality ruling filing that has been submitted by the Commission. Select the filing link. Under the Public Documents tab, you can see the confidentiality ruling document. On the Ruled Motions tab, you can see the ruling status here has been granted. Confidentiality ruling is granted, the disclosing party is required to resubmit all granted confidential information outlined in the confidentiality ruling. When you resubmit each of your confidential files, an associated public redacted version or generated summary must be provided for the public record. To resubmit your confidential files, select Filings and then the Create Filing button. Select Create Filing again. I'm going to select that there is no schedule type required for my filing, and I'm going to select the filing type of pre-hearing documentation. Enter a filing description. I'm going to enter Beckham Commercially Sensitive Reports 1 and 2. At the Confidential Materials section, select that you are uploading confidential files for the confidential record and redacted versions for the public record. You will be required to select a confidential user that is uploading the confidential documents. So I'm going to select David Beckham, and you'll see that my disclosing party is pre-populated by the system. Select the Save option. You will notice the purple banner on the confidential filing details screen. You will also notice a Public Documents tab and a Confidential Documents tab. Select the Upload button. When uploading confidential files and their associated public versions, select the purple button to indicate that you are uploading files for the confidential record and redacted versions for the public record. On the disclaimer screen, select that you acknowledge and agree that you are filing confidential information in accordance with Rule 1. Select the Add More Files button and select your confidential files first. So here's my commercially sensitive report 1 and 2. You can set the default description to the file names or manually add a description. For each confidential file, choose the Select Public Version link. You will have the option to upload the public redacted version of the confidential file if the document is partially redacted, or you can choose to have the system generate a summary version if the whole file is confidential. For the commercially sensitive report 1, I am going to upload a public redacted version. So here's my redacted version for the public record, and you will see that gets loaded in here. And for commercially sensitive report 2, the whole report is confidential, so I'm going to have the system generate a summary. Select the upload button and confirm the upload by selecting yes. Generated summary will be created by the system once you register the filing and confirm registration of the filing. You will notice that the filing has a purple banner and has a lock symbol to indicate that it is confidential. Registered parties are required to register a confidentiality undertaking in order to view the confidential documents. As a confidential administrator for a disclosing party, you are responsible to grant or deny access for the user requesting access. The system will send a request for access email to the confidential administrators of the disclosing party when it is time to grant or deny access for an individual. See on the filing screen that I now have a confidentiality undertaking from Andrew Wilson. Select the Documents menu item from the left navigation pane, and then select the Undertaking Access tab. You can see that there is one request that is awaiting response. Select Grantor Access based on what is outlined in the confidentiality ruling. Select the drop-down menu to grant or deny access. I'm going to grant access to this user. You will notice once granted, a user is required to submit a statutory declaration to revoke permissions to the confidential documents when they are no longer required for the purposes of the proceeding. Any questions regarding making a motion for confidentiality or other confidential procedures can be directed to info@auc.ab.ca or by telephone at 310 4 AUC.